This video is based on the technical analysis of Nasdaq 100, which we also refer to as USTech. What we'll do in regards to the technical analysis of Nasdaq 100 is identify the market structure, key support and resistance levels, important candlestick patterns, as well as levels at which we should be looking for potential buy and sell opportunities. Remember also that we're in earnings season, and yesterday after the bell we saw both Apple and Amazon releasing their season's earnings. And Apple, the technology stock, slid by about 1%, but their earnings per share exceeded expectations. Amazon, on the other hand, popped by over 7%, which is actually good for the Nasdaq 100 stock, right, or rather index. Also, remember that we have NFP coming up later in the day, and what this means is that there will be a lot of movement, volatility, in as far as Nasdaq goes. Also, before we get into the actual analysis, I wanted to mention that we've recently partnered with Evertrade. Evertrade is a broker. They are a reliable broker, they're reputable, and they offer indices, forex, crypto, commodities, as well as options. So to open an account with them, simply click on the link in the description and you'll be good to go. And so without wasting any further time, guys, let's get straight into the actual technical analysis. And we are on the daily chart, as I said, and on the daily chart we can see that the market had actually given us this very nice M structure. Now the issue that I have with this particular M structure is that it took place right in the middle of the park, right? That's the issue that I have with this particular M structure. If we were to go back to the weekly chart, we would see that in as far as price action goes, the market had given us this very nice W structure. This W structure started at this point, and ideally we want to see the market continue to move further up to close more or less at that level in line with where it started, right? And as I said, guys, we have an M structure over here, and it's right in the middle of the park. And as I said, it's very suspect, and it may be a trap, right? It may be a trap, as the anticipation is for the market to continue to move further up. And remember also that whenever it comes to these M structures, what normally happens is a lot of traders and investors usually sell on the second leg of that M, and they place their stop losses just above, right? So we have a lot of money stuck here in the form of stop losses, as the anticipation is, in as far as these sellers goes, is for the market to close below the neckline, head back to the neckline, and then move further down. But because, as I said, guys, this M structure is right in the middle of the park, this is most likely a trap, and we're likely to see the market actually move further up to trigger all of those stop losses, and then potentially move further up to those levels that I spoke about on the weekly chart. But what else do we see on the daily chart? If we can just zoom in on the daily chart, we can also see that we have this candlestick over here, right? And what it is a bearish candlestick with a small body and quite a long lower wick. And what this means is that we have a lot of liquidity stuck right at the bottom, and that liquidity is actually money that needs to be triggered by the market at one point or another. So what may possibly happen before the market possibly moves further up is that today we may see it on the lower time frames come back to this level to trigger all of that liquidity, and then potentially move further up to give us a very nice W structure. I hope you guys can see that, right? Anyway, from here what I'm going to do is head down to the H4 chart, and just bear with me while I do so. And here we are on the H4 chart, and just to recap, remember we spoke on the daily chart about how the market had given us this M structure, right? And I said to you guys that this M structure could be a trap, as a lot of traders and investors actually sold at this point and placed their stop losses just above, right? As much as we have that, if I can just zoom in on the H4 chart, we can also see that the market has given us what seems to be an inverted head and shoulders pattern at this point over here, right? I hope you guys can see that, and it has a neckline more or less at that level. And what may possibly happen is, as much as I said that we want to see the market move further down to where we have the candlestick that's carrying all of that liquidity, we may potentially also see the market only come down to the level to give it a test, which is the neckline of this inverted head and shoulders pattern. And then at that neckline is where we may see the market continue to move further up to around this level first, and secondly that level, because these two levels are very strong levels of resistance at this point in time. But in as far as looking for those potential buy and sell opportunities. At this point, I don't see any. However, having said that, myself personally, I would love to see, as I said earlier, the market moving further down to trigger the liquidity associated with that big candle, which is a bearish candlestick that's carrying all of that liquidity at the bottom. And once that happened, I would love to see the market move further up. So what I'm saying, in other words, is that it's probably best to look for buying opportunities at this point should the market choose to go to that level, right? But in as far as Nasdaq 100 goes, we are in a bullish market, and I don't think we should necessarily be looking for those selling opportunities. As I said, guys, if we can just go back to the weekly chart. On the weekly chart, we have this huge W over here, which started at this point, and ideally we want to see the market move all the way to that level to complete that structure.